Okay, so today we're going to learn how to add integers. Integers are negative numbers, 0, and positive numbers that aren't like fractions, they're whole numbers. Couple different ways of doing this. First way is with a number line. So the problem is negative 3 plus a negative 6. Okay, so they want us to draw a number line. And there we go. Let's do negative, let's start at 0. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, negative 9, negative 10. Okay? So if we have a negative number, we are going to go left on the number line. And if we have a positive number, we are going to go right on the number line. And we are going to always start at 0. Okay? So, this here is a negative number. And this is plus a negative 6, so the negative 6 is a negative number. So we're going to start at 0, and it tells me to go to the left 3 places. So, 1, 2, 3. I'm at negative 3. And then it says plus negative 6. This negative 6 tells me to go to the left 6 more places. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And my answer is negative 9. The next one tells me to do 4 plus negative 7. So we have a number line here. Number line's easy for small numbers, single digit numbers that you're looking at. It's always a good place to start, in my opinion. Okay? We're starting at 0, because we always start at 0. And we have 4, which is positive 4. So we're counting to the right 4 places from 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have negative 7. So that tells us to go to the left 7 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we end up on negative 3. Okay? The next thing we can do is, oh man, messing things up. Oh man, still messing things up. We can find the sum using absolute values. So we have negative 7 plus a negative 4. So these are both negatives. So the answer is negative. Okay? I'm going to show you 2 different ways to do this. So the absolute value of negative 7, if we have negative 7, the absolute value plus the absolute value of negative 4, the absolute value of negative 7 is 7, plus the absolute value of negative 4 is 4, and that equals 11. But since both of those numbers are negative, it's negative 11. So, if you have 2 negatives, you add and keep the sign of the larger number. Okay, so if we have negative 7 plus a negative 4, we add 7 plus 4 and get 11. 7 is bigger than 4 and it has a negative sign, so it's negative 11. Okay? The next problem says negative 8 plus 6. So these two have different signs. So if one positive, 1 negative. Since they have different signs, that's like difference, subtract keep sign of larger. Of larger number. So we're going to do 8 minus 6, because when you subtract, you do the bigger minus the smaller, equals 2. 8 is the larger number, and it has a negative sign, so we're going to keep the negative 2 there. Okay? So let's look at a few more of these. Negative 12 plus 19. They are different signs, so we're going to find the difference, which is subtraction. 19 minus 12 equals 7. 19 is the bigger number, and it has a positive sign, so 7 is the answer. If we look at 23 plus a negative 35, okay, different signs again, so we find the difference. So 35 minus 23, and that equals 12. 35 is the bigger number, and it has a negative sign, so we keep the negative sign with it. If we had something like negative 17 plus negative 16, we have the same signs, so we just add 17 plus 16, and we get 33. 17 is the larger number, and it has a negative sign, so it's negative 16. So when we're looking at the larger number, we're not looking for what number is actually larger, because in this case, negative 16 is larger than negative 17. We're looking at the numbers without the sign and saying which number is bigger. If both of these were positive, which number is bigger? 17 is bigger, so we keep the negative sign, because that means there are more negatives. Okay? So, evaluating. Next problem says that we're going to evaluate A plus B for A equaling 6 and B equaling negative 10. Whenever we evaluate, whenever we put a number in for a variable or a number in for a letter, we put it in parentheses. So we have 6 plus negative 10. We have a positive 6 and a negative 6, so we have different signs, so we're going to find the difference. So we have 10 minus 6 equals 4. If we looked at both of those numbers just as positive numbers, 10 is bigger and 10 has a negative sign, so it's negative 4. Okay, so let's look at x plus y for x equaling negative 42 and y equaling 71. So, if x is negative 42, we put that in parentheses, plus y is 71. They have different signs, so we are finding the difference, which is subtracting. And we get 29. Now we have to look. Which number is bigger if they were both positive? 71 is, and it's positive, so the answer is positive 29. Okay, the last problem we're going to do is the banking application. The math team's income from a car wash was $300, including tips. Supply expenses were $25. Use integer addition to find the team's total profit or loss. So the team made, we profit $300, and we spend $25. Okay, profit is something you make, so we're going to look at profit as being positive $300. Okay, however, when you spend money, that goes away from you, so that is saying negative $25. So we have plus a negative $25. We have different signs, so we're finding the difference, which is subtracting. 300 minus 25 equals 275. We're going to look both at 300 and negative 25 as positive numbers. 300 is larger and it is positive, so $275 is our answer. Okay? So you could check Canvas and see what you need to do for homework. I'm going to do one more story problem here, so if you want to listen, awesome. Okay, the next story problem says, the jazz band's income from a bake sale was $286. Oh, it's been a really good bake sale. So income was $286. Expenses were $21. So, remember, income is what you make, so that's positive $286. Expenses is what you're spending, so that's negative $21 because it's coming out of your pocket or out of the money you made. So, we have 286 plus negative 21. So we have different signs, which means we have to find the difference or subtract. So 286 minus 21. And we subtract that, we get 265. Now we need to look at both of these. 286 is bigger if both of them are positive, and it's positive, so our answer is positive 265. If you need a number line, I have number lines. I think we just might make them in class, whether you think you need them or not. So hopefully that was enough for you to get started. Same signs, add sign of the larger number. Different signs, subtract sign of the larger number.